Oh, I won't back down. Oh, I can't back down. You could stand me up at the gates of hell, or maybe the Degrassi black hole. I know I have many weird opinions, but I know it's right to tell you why I can think of 10 things that I can't let go, and I won't back down. It's a question as old as time itself. It's, are people evil? Are people good? How do you trust somebody? How do you think they look? Well, in the Degrassi universe, there's a lot of hate and mistrust, not just by characters and other characters and actors towards other actors, but the Reddit community towards certain actors, certain Degrassi characters, and certain Redditors of their own. But the fact of the matter is that times have changed. Hey there, Heather Ho there. It's your old friend Jeff Cutter Diamond, welcoming you to another Cutter Degrassi series. As you can tell by the title and the 30-second butchering of the Tom Petty song I Won't Back Down, it's time for another project. And this project has to do with 10 opinions I think I have of characters that I and situations that I won't back down from. They will be ranging from there will be many Emma ones I will omit. From Emma's problems with her clingy friends to the principal's issue with Pill, Pill and Shep to even time 10 still as an episode. But the fact of the matter is, this first one, which was randomly selected, is to deal with an Emma situation. Yes, it is an Emma situation, and a lot of people think it's a bad situation. But season 6 of Degrassi was just pure adulterated hate for one Emma Nelson. So in this first episode, I will take a look at Emma's season 6 diatribe in the episode If You Leave, and why Emma had a right to blow her stack. I mean, think about it. When you look at Emma and her behaviors, it's just not right and all that. I will get to a few more Emma videos at the end, near the end of the series. But the fact of the matter is, Emma's behavior was awful. So basically, I'm going to go through like the whole situation to put everything in context about the season 6 situation with Emma. Tell you about the Reddit post I attempted to do and got no responses, and why I'm not backing down. Anyway, so it's season 6 in the Degrassi universe. And Emma at the start of season 6 was with Peter. Unfortunately, Sean came back from Wasaga and, wooed Emma in a sense. Peter isn't so worried about Emma because and with Sean. Unfortunately, Manny tells Sean about the whole Sean and Emma situation, and so Peter gets worried. He wants to know from Emma if she's smitten with him or Peter. Emma doesn't give a straight answer, so Peter is unsure about it. And in his insecurity, he decides to plant drugs in Sean's locker and, woo Emma back. After Sean realizes Peter's connection with the drugs and knew that planting the drugs was wrong, they decide to have a street race for Emma's heart, it seemed. And both drivers were driving, but Sean hits a pedestrian and wants to call 911 and gets the stuff. Jay, who was tailing the cars, decided to tell Sean, you need to leave because they'll go easy on Peter, but not on you. So Sean flees. Emma gets him to confess to the cops, and Emma stays with Peter to such a point that she's upset that Peter can't go to the dance with her, and Emma's desperate and all that. Fortunately for most people, Jay and Manny team up to try to tell Emma that Emma jumped the gun, and it wasn't all Peter's fault about stuff. Sean was victimized. But the fact of the matter is that it took a mask in Emma's locker to realize that Emma was wrong about Peter, and that Peter put the drugs in Sean's locker because he had the locker combinations. She dumps Peter off. Peter gets in trouble with Hatzalakos, but, you know, everyone's like, how does Peter know he's not in trouble? Because of Hatzalakos' motherly love and crocodile tears that Peter sheds. Peter, in a sense, was a scumbag, and that's why Emma was with Sean. Now you're thinking, hang on, how does this have to do with season 6? Well, this is just basically Emma's mindset in season 6. So, of course, Emma's with Sean, and Emma wants to finally, you know, pop her cherry, if you will, with Sean, and finally get rid of her virginity. So the fact of the matter is that Emma plans to be with Sean. Now, around that time, Manny wanted to be with Craig, but Craig didn't want Manny. So Manny, upset with Craig dumping her off, decides to throw a house party to get her mind off Craig. And wouldn't you know it, it was Liberty's birthday, so perfect excuse. The good news for Manny, in a sense, was that both Spike and Snake were off. They were out for a weekend, so they got to have the party. Unfortunately, the party grew out of control because of another factor called Lakehurst. Now, also in season 6, but not related to Emma, was the fact that JT was dating Mia, who was once the girlfriend of Lakehurst's so-called mob boss, Nick. Nick was the one before Lucas who impregnated Mia and gave her Izzy. The simple fact was that Nick was upset that JT would dare go with Mia, and then all of Lakehurst wants to go after JT. So there's a Lakehurst Degrassi rivalry for a couple of episodes, and it comes to a head in the episode Rock This Town, when Lakehurst decides to invite themselves to the party, but thankfully for Degrassi and JT, in a sense, that both Jimmy and Spinner see that and kick them out. No harm, no foul. Emma decides to get drunk at the party, but is so drunk she forgets her plan to go after Sean. But of course, JT then talks to Toby and realizes he's in trouble and decides to go after oatmeal instead of a meatball sub. I'm like, how prejudiced is this? I mean, it's kind of culturally insensitive, don't you think? But remember, this is like 2007, so times were different. The fact of the matter is that Emma was passed out, in a sense. And then JT decides to go after Liberty, forgetting that she actually left the party. Toby says for JT to go after her. JT tries to, but finds Drake Lampley and Johnny DeMarco peeing on his car. He makes a badass comment. Drake comes in and stabs JT in the aorta. Johnny is shocked. And then JT dies. Well, he bleeds out. Liberty somehow comes back to the party and then finds out, somebody help! And that primal scream. Unfortunately, JT bled out too much and his aorta was severed and he was dead. John, Emma, Manny, and Toby are all devastated. Oh yeah, Liberty too. They're all devastated by the news. The next episode, the one I'm not talking about, is when Toby has survivor's guilt and actually hooks up with Liberty. It's strange how grief brings people close together, but JT values and all that. But Toby, even though JT did treat him like dirt sometimes, actually told Liberty the truth about it. And kind of ruined his relationship with Liberty. But, I mean, Toby owed it to his best friend. And maybe Toby had guilt over telling JT to go after Liberty, which led to the stabbing. So then it's all that. But it's important to know that Drake Lampley went to jail, and Johnny DeMarco must have had some kind of plea deal or something, because, you know, he comes back in later Degrassi episodes, like a few seasons later. It's also important to know that, is it possible that Nick may have gotten in trouble with the law because of this whole thing? It's possible, because Nick's never mentioned again in any episodes or scene, obviously. And Nick actually, and it's possible that Nick may have got Johnny and Lampley to do something about it, but not kill him. But, you know, Drake went rogue, and Nick probably got in trouble for conspiracy. But that's not the point. The point is, if you leave. So this is the episode I'm talking about. So Emma and Manny talk about things, and Emma says it's been a couple weeks since JT died, and then Manny's mom comes by and tells Manny that because of the events of the stabbing and all that, Manny should stay and move home. Emma's not so sure about it, but Manny says, I just need to get in comfort of my own family. Emma is shocked. Emma tries to reason with Manny and all that for why Manny shouldn't leave her. Manny's like, I'm family, and I've got other things on my mind, Emma, but we'll have a girls' night. Unfortunately, though, Manny stiffs Emma on girls' night. And, Emma's not too pleased about it. The reason why? Because Manny wanted to be on a date with Damien. Now, it's important to note that I learned this a couple days ago, that Manny and Damien kind of were an item before Manny paraded Damien at the dot in front of people. So, okay, fair enough. But then, Emma is not so sure about it and then talks to Mia and a few other Lakehurst transplants to Degrassi. And they say how bad Lakehurst is, and Emma is spurned to do something about it. A couple of missed opportunities with Manny leads Emma to consider things. Emma and Sean are invited by Manny and Damien to join them on the dot. So they do. Sean's not too happy with it, and Sean talks about things with Damien, saying that, someone from your school killed one of our students. And Damien's like, I'm sorry that happened. I just don't know why. And then Mia comes up and yells at Damien, saying that you're close to Drake Lampley. Have you talked to him? And he's not so sure about it. Manny gets mad at Emma, saying that you can't just let things go, can you? And Emma says, well, it's for good reason. And then Manny slams Emma, and Emma's not too pleased about it. At the media class, Snake tells about the cheerleading competition, saying that Degrassi could win the competition for the first time in a couple decades. Emma says, why should we have this event? We're dancing on JT's grave. And Snake says, well, we have to do it, Emma. I mean, logistics. The logistics, everything's been planned and all that. We can't back down on it. Manny tells Emma, we'll do this in tribute of JT. Don't worry about it. And then the uniforms Degrassi wears is like weird and all that, and it's like a bouncy, cheery song. I don't know the lyrics of it, and I don't want to play the lyrics because I don't want YouTube to get angry at me. So basically, they do this thing, and then, well, Lakehurst is coming to the school and all that, and Lakehurst does their performance. Emma leads Degrassi in yelling a "Go Home Lakehurst" competition chant. It throws Lakehurst off their game. Degrassi does win somehow, and Emma feels happy about herself. But Manny tells Emma in the hallway, "You just couldn't let things go, could you?" And Emma says, "We won. No one's going to be talking about this thing. They're going to be talking about how you got Degrassi the title." And then Damien makes this smartass remark that, you're lucky that Manny stays with you because no one else would. And then that sparks a brawl between Degrassi and Lakehurst. Also, Lakehurst students were not happy with Degrassi butting in. So there's a big brawl. Hatzlackles breaks it up. Snake talks to Emma and yells at her for getting a month of detention. Emma just doesn't seem to care. And Snake says, you ruined this thing. Emma's like, everyone's moving on from JT, and I'm just pissed. And Snake's like, everyone's grieving. Everyone knows about this whole JT situation, including Manny. Emma, your problems are not with Lakehurst. Your problems are at Manny. And she's your best friend. You got to learn that. You got to fix this. Emma then contemplates her problems, and then at the end of the episode, she shows the spot where JT got stabbed to Manny, and Manny says, I don't think you need to show me that spot. Emma says, I think I do. Look, Manny, this is not about Damien. This is not about Lakehurst. This is about us, in a sense. And Manny says, I know you're upset by this whole situation, but Emma, you made me the bad guy in this situation. And Emma says, I guess it didn't work out. And Manny says, Emma, we're a team. We can get through things together. We always have. And Emma says, thank you for the reminder. And they share an embrace. And that's the end of the episode. Now, of course, it's the whole situation with season 6. Why do people think this is bad? Well, simply put, Emma butted into the situation. And it's like, this is a JT situation. How could Emma have had a part to play? JT and Emma didn't really connect with each other and all that. Yes, they were in the premiere episode and all that and connected, and JT helped Emma avoid the catfishing situation, avoid the predator. But Emma and JT didn't really have a lot of interactions, except for season 3 when Emma was trying to push JT onto Manny as a boyfriend instead of Sully. Kind of a dumb move, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, Emma tried her best, and Emma wanted to fix the situations. But the problem was that it just didn't go over so well. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of people are like, why would Emma want to butt her way into this thing? It's simple. This incident, JT died steps from her house at a party that was not really supposed to be thrown by Emma and Manny, with Snake and Spike out of the house and all that. You know, a murder happened steps from Emma's house. How is Emma not going to react to this? I mean, Emma has every right to get nervous. Maybe she does get nervous that the police might have something to do with it and might put her in trouble. Or maybe Emma probably wanted Manny to get into trouble too for throwing the house party. It was her idea. I bet you Emma probably would have wanted to throw Manny under the bus. But Emma would have been thrown under the bus too by Manny. And people were like, Emma, this wasn't about JT. This was about Manny moving on. And, you know, Emma has a problem with Manny moving on and probably thinking that Manny's going to break off as friends with Emma and Emma's trying to be clingy and all that. I'll get to that in a few more episodes of this series. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, this is it. So I did a Reddit post and I said the only positive I saw with Emma's behavior in the episode If You Leave was that she didn't internalize like normal. So there's the second part of this. Okay, it says, yes, Emma had some bad moments in that episode that saw Manny move back home and her overreacting to Damien being with Manny and the whole Lakers situation. But she didn't repeat her internalization issues from the past few seasons. Think about it. She basically held in all her issues about the Rick situation, as in, you know, having a gun pointed at her and losing Sean to what's at the beach, and also being with Peter / having to deal with a broken household in season 5 because of Snake's treats with Hansel Ackles. She went overboard with helping Manny lose weight until she was forced to deal with the issues via an intervention. And then how she was trying to tell Manny about how she felt about the whole JT thing, but got shooed off. Yeah, I know it's kind of different, but season 6. Emma, I did a C-duel about this and why, you know, Emma may have been, I understand Emma's problems in season 6, but the fact of the matter is that she was warranted. I mean, there was a death steps from her house at stemming from the house party that should not have been thrown. Emma had the right to freak out. It's like season 2 when Spike and Snake were hooking up. Emma had a right to get angry because why would she want her mom dating her teacher? Emma was right in that. But the fact of the matter is that there were a lot of issues with Emma's behavior and all that. Like, Emma had every right to get mad about it. And she was probably scared of losing Manny as a friend and all that. I'll get to that more so when I talk about Emma's stuff with her friends and all that. Being a clingy friend and then a clingy girlfriend. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, this worked out. Snake and Manny made Emma realize the true power of friendship, the My Little Pony trope. Well, a lot of people said that was kind of bad because, you know, Emma didn't backstab Manny anymore. Like, she never did. Like, the rest of season 6 and then season 7, she didn't really backstab Manny. She wasn't involved in trying to destroy Manny and all that. Season 8 and 9, in a sense, she tried to backstab Manny by stealing Kelly from her. And it worked out in Manny's favor because it didn't work out with Emma and Kelly. Now, a lot of people will probably say that whole If You Leave thing, because that's the start of Emma trying to cling on with Manny as a friend. Possibly. But I'll get to that later. But, like, there's also the fact that she didn't internalize it. What we saw with Emma in the first few seasons was her way of internalizing things. The catfishing situation. You know, she kept everything to herself, saying that Jordan's not a bad guy, I'm going to go for it. She goes to the hotel room and finds out that he's a middle-aged man who catfished her. Fortunately, though, JT and Toby saved the day by their computer sleuthing. And poor Emma, she's being bit and all that. But the fact of the matter is that that led to the Armstrong situation, and the Armstrong situation is that, you know, she told Manny her problems with Armstrong being with Liberty, and Manny tells her not to worry, and then it spills out through Hazel and Terry and Paige, the gossips. And Emma is forced to confront the situation and admit her guilt. She did. She apologized for everything. It wasn't completely Emma's fault. But the whole catfishing thing might have been an internalization of how she felt uncomfortable around people and all that. I mean, the guy did give her the creeps. Emma internalized a lot of issues with herself, and sometimes when she speaks out, people just ignore her. But the fact is that Emma, especially in season 6, gets it out in the open. I mean, season 4, when you look at the timeline in season of how long it took between Jimmy being shot and Jimmy coming back to the school, that was 3 months. And of course, Eye of the Tiger was the episode after Secret, in which Emma was internalizing her problems with the Rick situation and decided to get out of her frustrations by going down on Jay and getting gonorrhea and all that. I know they didn't say she got gonorrhea, but the symptoms were there, and I think Emma kind of did get gonorrhea. But the fact of the matter was that, you know, the whole Rick situation, it ruined her. I think this whole season 6 thing was also another PTSD episode. I mean, Emma in season 4 caused a lot of trouble with the Rick situation, not on purpose, but inadvertently. And then Rick was upset when Emma spurned him and all that, and decides to go after her. Now remember, he shot Jimmy, and then he was walking in a daze down the hallway and just happened to find Emma. And, you know, I'll talk about more about that when Time Stands Still happens and all that. But the simple fact is digesting Time Stands Still is not going to be that easy. But the simple fact is that, you know, Emma internalized her problems. Secret, she's been internalizing, she's been withdrawn from everything, even friendships, even going out. Simple as going out. And all that, she doesn't usually entertain friends. She's falling behind in school, fair enough, and Purina basically wants Emma to snap out of her funk. Kind of bitchy move, Purina, but yeah. Spike and Snake are worried. They're not really doing anything but Emma. For one simple reason. Emma always kept bouncing back. Emma had a way of bouncing back from problems and fixing problems and is okay, but she was just in a daze. She does that, gets a gonorrhea attack, gets shunned by the school in a sense, again, and she realizes what she's done with Jay and realizes this is not the way to fix the problem. I know she didn't really say stuff about Rick and all that. But yeah, like a stabbing and all that, death coming close to her for the second time in 3 seasons, or 3 years, I guess you can kind of say. But yeah, Emma had a right to freak out. Like, I would freak out too. But the fact of the matter is that as much as Emma is in the wrong in a situation, she should not have been in this whole JT's mess. I mean, it happened steps from her house, and Manny moved away. Emma wanted to cling on to Manny. And when I talk about the clinging friend phase, that's what I'll get into too. But the fact of the matter is that Emma had a right to freak out in season 6. And unlike most situations Emma was in, she didn't internalize it. She didn't like just push it aside. She needed to get it out in the open and try to explain things. Unfortunately, Emma couldn't explain to Manny the situation she needed Manny in the house and all that. It could have been a control issue, but at least Emma's doggone honest. Honesty is sometimes the best policy. Sometimes with Emma, that's not it. But yeah, so that's it. Emma's problems in season 6. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think. I'm just saying that Emma had the right to get into the JT situation in season 6 because everything happened steps from her house. I bet you if it steps from Toby's house or Liberty's house, there'd be a lot of issue, and they would step in on the situation. But yeah, Emma had a right to. I mean, it's kind of flawed about Emma's logic, but, you know, it's Emma. What do you expect? So anyway, that's chapter 1 of my 10-part series. So hopefully next week you'll see another brand new one and a happy one. Anyway, I'm Jeff. I'm going to do